Turning her interesting, sometimes tumultuous life story into comedy comes naturally for Atsuko Okatsuka. Amna sat down with her recently to see how that humor lands with an ever-growing audience and helps her sort out that life story. The conversation is part of our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Her comedy is physical.
Did you eat? No? Eat, please, eat.
Her style eccentric.
Wow, it's Atsuko, it's the weird one. Oh, shit's gonna get weird and crazy.
And she knows how to hook her audience. Atsuko Okatsuka is an internet sensation with followers who watch as she marries her husband for the second time.
The Scrapes got married again.
Come on!
And dances with her grandmother, who now has a separate fan base of her own. Okatsuka rocketed to viral fame with the creation of her own drop challenge to a Beyoncé song. 1 million people watched her, creating their own videos, including tennis star Serena Williams and actor Mandy Moore.
My husband and I had an intruder come to our house.
And she shines in her first HBO comedy special, The Intruder.
The guy kind of watches this, freaks out, and starts to run away.
Her quirky observational humor has struck a chord.
Truly, there is a corner in my house that I sometimes take the time to stand at just because I pay rent. Yeah, I'm always like, this is like $30 right here. Why don't I ever stand here? You pay for it, at least feel it.
She sat down with me recently and talked about discovering comedy in an unlikely place.
What did you see or hear that said, this is something I want to do?
When I first watched stand-up comedy was through Margaret Cho. So it was this DVD that was handed to me during a really, really boring sermon at church. One of my friends was like passed it to me and was like, shh, hey, this is stand-up comedy. And it was someone who looked like me. And then it wouldn't be till years later that a boyfriend told me that I was funny and that I should try doing stand-up.
Yes, my fellow basic person.
It also took years to get her own special. Okatsuka is just the second Asian American woman ever to get her own HBO comedy special. The first was Margaret Cho, over 2 decades ago.
I never saw Asian people on television or in movies, so my dreams were somewhat limited. I would dream, maybe someday I could be an extra on MASH.
It's not about them going, oh, you can't say that out loud. You can't go, no, there's only enough slots for so many Asians at a time. It's just they show it to you. Yeah, so you have to push past a lot of barriers.
Why do you think it did take so long?
I think people are afraid of things not working, People are afraid of things they're not used to seeing. But they have to trust the audience. The audience has been asking for it. And that's what I mean by social media and as stand-up comedians can post their own clips online and then they gain their own followers and go on tour and the audience is there and they prove look, people do want to see this, then the industry usually listens.
You have a story a lot of people can relate to, though, about coming here, learning how to fit in, making a new life in a new country. And your comedy special is called The Intruder. Is there another meaning behind that title, too?
Yeah. And I'm glad that, you saw it. Because it's not so over the head, right? But, yeah, the double entendre is that, as a formerly undocumented immigrant, right, I oftentimes felt like I was intruding, on everyone else.
What do you mean by that?
I'm coming to someone else's country, I'm coming to someone else's culture, and, being without papers means you're not really supposed to be here. Anybody who's ever felt like an outsider, just because you talk differently or, look differently or dress differently than other people, than the norm, I think you might have felt like an intruder as well.
Her road to success was an unlikely one. Born in Taiwan, she spent her early childhood in Japan before moving to the United States at the age of 10 with her mother and grandmother. For years, she lived undocumented, hiding parts of her identity. Today, she owns it.
I am a product of divorced parents. Guilty, was undocumented for 7 years due to a lie my grandma and my mom told me about how long we were going to be here.
Tell me about your family and how you came to live in the U.S.
My mom and grandma and I moved to the U.S. when I was 8, but at the time I didn't know I was moving here. My grandma, she's so sweet, unassuming looking, this like old Asian woman, but she was a liar, She told me we were coming to the States for a 2-month vacation, and then she had us overstay tourist visas. We became undocumented. We were living in my uncle's garage. And so that's how she at least got me to move to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The challenges, some very personal, feed her work today. And Okatsuka doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
My dad's on his 3rd divorce. My mom's schizophrenic. At a certain point, I want to look at my family and be like, guys, if you wanted me to do comedy, you could have just told me. You know what I mean? Truly.
You've talked about your mother's own mental illness. Why do you think it's important to weave those details into your work?
As a kid, I was always able to make sad things funny. Not just for me, but for my family. It's just a part of how I communicate with people. I go, okay, this very difficult to talk about subject, mental illness, no worries, let's talk about it. But I'm gonna make you laugh while I'm doing it, And that way, we both feel better, yeah.
Okatsuka continues to tour across the country, bringing her comedy and building connections wherever she goes.
What do you love about this work? What is it like when you're up on stage and you can make an entire room laugh?
Oh gosh, it's finding community, yeah. And my fans are fellow weirdos. You're a fellow weirdo for even connecting with me.
Thank you for that.
Watching my comedy, even laughing at it. Sorry, you're not normal. And that's what I love, though, that we can all find each other and be like, yes, we're not alone. In all the times we might have felt that way. That's why I love it.